I get sent out quite a few people messaging me their workplace training, and it's always so funny.
Yeah.
So the Lockheed Martin, which is the defense contractor.
Yeah. So someone who works at Lockheed Martin sent this?
So no. I didn't get sent this one. This one was kind of going viral because basically a whistleblower, sent this out to the fucking, Hannity or
Well, we
some
talked
shit.
about it on the did we talk about that with?
We didn't go through it yet.
No. There was another defense contractor where they had to do like a Zoom meeting, and it was all these white guys in a Zoom meeting. And they were.
I remember that. Yeah.
Remember that? I wonder if this is similar to that. Probably.
It might have been. Yeah. Well, this kind of happened pretty recently. Like they're doing this, but it just kind of, I guess you could say the spot got blown up because first of all, I get sent a lot of these, like I said, and they just screenshot them and send them to me. 90% of it is pronoun based. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
90% of it is like you go to training and
they go, hey, like these are what pronouns.
This is a him.
It's
This
2021. Yeah, it's
This is a
2021.
Jim.
This is what you fucking boomers, like when someone says their pronouns, this is what it means.
Yeah. And then they
don't
say,
roll your eyes immediately when someone says that. It's rude. And you go, okay.
But then they
I'm
go
sorry.
through, they actually do go through it. Like a lot of them have these animations, which all these companies are just getting paid a fortune to, fucking for this grift, right?
This is like one of the grifts of the fucking
This is grift of the millennium.
of the decade,
Well,
easily.
I told you this when I went to this conference. There was a guy there that had to get the training at his workplace, and there was a girl there that had a company that did the training. And both of them were like, yeah, this is, none of us want to do this. So, like, I'm sure there's the Robin DiAngelo.
Like she answered a Craigslist ad basically for a job. They gave her like here's the handbook, and now go out there and train people in anti-racism.
No, it was more, they're a job training place. And they, it's like you're a pizza place and everyone calls you and they're like, I'm telling you, like, avocado's the hot topping this year.
Yeah.
And they go, I guess we got to do avocado.
Right.
So they're like, they normally used to do normal training at places, right? And then
like how to work, like how to like run the business, how to deal with a customer.
Yeah.
And then now it's like how to not be racist.
well, everyone's calling them. So every person's calling them saying, hey, we need diversity training because we got caught,
I would love to see that fucking
blowing up another country.
I want to see that call center where they're all just calling outgoing calls for businesses being like, hey, have you considered diversity training, you racist piece of shit?
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
basically just calling that's their
Telemarketing
opener
that.
because you have like 10 seconds before they hang up. So basically calling the person and go, are you white, you racist piece of shit? And they go, what?
Yeah.
And then they go, okay, I got my foot in the door here, and then try and sell them on like the platinum package, anti-racism package.
The bisexual girls have been funny over the last little bit, being like, well, I guess I wouldn't have to do that because I'm in a press class. So 90% of it's that. Then they get into the sexuality and gender where they do a lot of, this is a guy, but he's also, but he's also a girl, but his sexuality's male, but his gender's this, and it's some 75-year-old truck driver just ready to blow his fucking brains.
Totally, I know, totally. He goes, what?
Probably time to retire. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I get sent these, but the Lockheed Martin one's so great because it's literally 50, rich people, right?
Yeah.
People that probably on the low end make $350,000 a year. So fucking old white dudes that work for a fucking defense contractor.
That's the best. It's like,
And they sent them away to an island, the 7 of them. So out of the gate, you go, they don't send any of the black guys, so they only send the white ones.
free vacation to an
So
island.
it's just, they send 7 of the boys.
Go whites only island vacation.
They legitimately do a white male only vacation, but you have to, 3 hours a day. They got to tell you how bad
It's like
you
a
are.
timeshare. It's like literally like going to you get like conned into like one of those timeshare things.
Yeah.
You just have to sit through the meeting for 3 hours. You go, yeah, it's free, but you have to sit through the
You
meeting.
have to sit through the meetings
that's sick.
for the that's what it
I guess
is.
I could do that.
But you know what? This is just like a side note before I get into what it was. But I was thinking like just a funny difference between gay guys and not gay guys.
Yeah.
Is I've had how my brother is gay. I get a lot of
Heard about it.
I get a lot of dudes after shows over the course of my life, or just like a friend, sometimes jokingly, sometimes more serious, because I'll talk about my brother being gay, and like a gay guy will be like, hey, can I get your brother's number? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
they'll be
Because
like,
they want to fuck you, but they can't. But
yeah,
they go,
they're like
"He'll look
gay,
similar."
and they'll be like, yeah, exactly, and they'll be like hitting on me essentially, and I'm like, I'm not. They'll be like, oh, well, maybe you hook me up with your brother.
And would they be like, it's normal in the gay community for just someone to give away someone's number like that? Because that's a weird thing, just give away.
Well, imagine the other way around, where you hit on a girl and you go, hey, are you down to fuck? She goes, no. You go, what's your sister's number? Oh, my sister. Okay, what about a cousin? I'm not done trying to.
But
fuck
also
your
the
family
idea that
tree.
you're like, give me a number. I'm just gonna cold call your sister.
yeah,
Like that's so insane to fuck her.
yeah.
Like just based on what you look like.
Well, they're kind of kidding, but it's not always just give me a number. It's like, is he single? Could you hook me up with them?
Yeah.
But that just the other way around, you're hitting on a girl at a bar, being like, and she's like, listen, I have a boyfriend. You're like, do you have any siblings that I can fuck? It's a more aggressive attitude or whatever, right? And sometimes, so when I was going through this diversity training, sometimes you go, is this just like some wacky, super fucking wild left-wing thing that no one actually thinks? And then is it, because look at the right, you get people get into white genocide or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then, but you go, no, it's not. This is fucking defense contractors have to do this. And it's being taught
Because they're
everywhere.
public companies. That's why.
Yeah. So this is, it's not like Fox News is kind of low-key talking about white genocide.
Can I plug my computer in quickly?
I'll talk about the article. So it starts, it's pretty fucking good. Last year, Lockheed Martin Corporation, the nation's largest defense contractor, sent white male executives to a 3-day diversity training seminar to deconstruct their white male culture. Lockheed Martin employees were given a list of connotations for the term white men. So the trainer says, this is what you think of when white men comes up. And the trainers wrote down old, racist, privileged, anti-woman,
Honky.
Aryan Nation, KKK, guns, guilty, and can't jump. So this is what you're supposed to think of when you think like when they go, what do you think of when you think of the color of your skin? And you go, guilty,
Can't jump.
can't jump.
I mean, honestly, I do. I will say, when I think of the color of my skin, I do think can't jump.
Can't jump is fair.
Can't jump. I go, that's totally fair.
Old, racist, anti-woman. But you're like, why is it more of a white guy thing?
Yeah. I go, first off,
Angry.
we know it's not.
Yeah.
Like, we objectively know that
Of course
it's
not.
Like, just take all the people in the world
Yeah.
and the politics of those places.
Take every country. Yeah.
Take every country on earth. Take the politics that are just like objective of those places. I don't know. Imagine you did this like they're in fucking like Saudi Arabia. They're doing like this similar sensitivity.
What do you think of
trip.
white men? They
What-
hate women, and the Iranian dudes are like based.
Yeah, sick.
But I think this is why I kind of, when I'm talking about, so the same thing that I was just sort of saying about the normal people thing, when we're talking about like comedy, and a lot of people say that it's so crazy. It's like when I like doing normal New York audiences because my thesis is always that normal people aren't this fucking crazy. Mm-hmm. And I find that most of the time I'm right. Where you go,
100%.
like when you go on
100%.
You know that idea that like everyone's so woke and stuff? I go, but when you do normal comedy, you go, no, 90% of people go, this is crazy. But it is the like mainstream thing that everyone has to deal with or whatever.
Yeah.
And one thing that I was thinking that kind of, so 2 or 3 different smart people that have gotten to the purpose of comedy, and Garrett Jameson and Giannis Papas both told me their different version of this. I remember Garrett said that the purpose of comedy is to bring things back to normal when they get too out of hand.
Uh-huh.
And
I like that.
Giannis said that to keep society honest.
Yeah.
And it was like,
It's like a check and balance almost.
yeah. And
It's like a mechanism.
it's like a check and balance. And that's why I think it's probably a good way to put it. And I think that's probably true. And so when I was even thinking like, what's the purpose of like even, cause most people, like anyone that talks about culture or politics, a lot of them have an agenda. I think if you were to break down what I would say the purpose of what this is, of even doing the Boyscast and stuff is like, so normal, like if you're normal to not feel crazy.
yeah.
Like if you go,
Just to be like, hey, yeah, someone, yeah, exactly.
You're not crazy.
Yeah, when you see, because we feel that way too, where
Yeah.
all this stuff's happening. Are we nuts?
right?
Like, are we crazy?
Yeah, am I
Like, are we
nuts?
so out of? That's like all the time. I'll be like, am I so out of touch?
It's like the guy in North Korea that's bawling his eyes out, and everyone's bawling their eyes out, and you go, do I not have empathy?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, totally.
And because everyone's crying, and then when you get down to it, everyone's like, no, we're faking it, brother.
So, like, we don't want to get executed. You see what happens to people who don't cry?
Yeah. So that's kind of what it is. But so then they go. The firm's training programs are designed to assist white men in discovering the roots of their male culture. This culture, according to Welp and Proudman, so I thought that was funny that the guy who runs the course is a black guy named Proudman. Proudman consists of traits such as this is what they say that this is the roots of white culture. They go rugged individualism, a can-do attitude, hard work, operating from principles, striving towards success, which are superficially positive, but they are devastating to women and minorities. So,
I mean, speaking of my girlfriend, she definitely has a can-don't attitude. So,
how fucking great is that? That they go, this is the kind of shit that you that I feel like people mention, and then everyone poo-poos. They go, that's not what's happening.
Yeah,
that's what's happening at the defense contractors. They go, this guy's got a can-do attitude, racist. Got it. A can-do attitude is devastating towards minorities.
Goal-oriented? Is that was that
hard work?
Hard work.
A can-do attitude. I think of like Ned Flanders.
Yeah.
And they go, oh.
Did you ever see Ned Flanders with only black people?
Hates minorities. Got it. But you know what else is probably devastating to minorities? Bombing a wedding from your defense contract.
Yeah. Yeah, Lockheed Martin. Hey, Lockheed Martin, you're not great for can-do attitude. You're not great for minorities.
But think about that. You're a fucking defense contractor, and you're out there being like, "What's our problem? Too much can-do attitude.
Too much can. I mean, kind of. Yeah, I'd say if people in the Middle East are like, my issue with Lockheed Martin is their can-do attitude.
You're right.
Tone it back on the goal setting and the fucking.
Yeah, for you go. Yeah, for your company, it is a little bit probably true. The other thing I was thinking about, you know how you were kind of saying it's all about the removal of accountability?
Yeah.
There is this other thing with, let's say you say someone's a fucking actual racist or a bigot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Really, you know the trope of like a racist uncle or whatever, right?
Yeah. I hope to be one someday.
Yeah. So the idea that, imagine we're at a party, right? And some girl brought her like boyfriend and an uncle, right?
Yeah.
And the uncle was there being like dropping N-bombs.
Totally.
Being like, this is the white man's country.
Yeah.
Right? And then his girlfriend looks at us being like, are you going to apologize for him? We go, we apologize for, it's your boyfriend. It's your family.
Yeah.
Like, why am I apologizing for
your racist uncle?
Yeah. You know what I mean? Imagine, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. If anything, it's your fucking blood.
This is your shit.
Yeah.
So that it's like, instead of people being responsible for their own shit.
Well, the thing is, they like those same people like to be like, hey, you're white or whatever, you're this. So therefore, like, when anytime anybody like that does this, that's on you.
Yeah, it's on me.
And you go, okay, well, this guy's your blood relative.
Yeah, this is your shit, sister.
Yeah.
And you go, no, but that's because he's a man.
Yeah.
I go,
they break it up.
Yeah, they break it up where they go, that's, you think like a mom like in her son, you go, it wasn't, if you raised to be like the biggest piece of shit that killed a guy, and the mom goes out and she goes, oh, that's men for you. That's our society and men. You go, you don't think you had a little bit to do with your son murdering people? That's toxic masculinity did it?
Remember on that Facebook group or whatever with that woman in Toronto? And she, with the stuff with her son, remember we used to talk about it? And she would do all this crazy shit where she like wouldn't let her son like pee standing up.
Really?
Remember? No, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It was like in the buns zone. Remember?
Yeah.
And she's like, she wouldn't let her son pee.
Train him to be like a better person.
Yeah, you're like, you're kind of. He's obviously going to be super.
You're training a psychopath.
Yeah, he's going to be mental.
You're training a nutcase.
A nutter.
My buddy, so another one of my good friends, he was sending me, which actually led me to start thinking about this and want to talk about it, is my pretty close friend sent me his workplace training, and he goes, honestly, the white dudes here, we're just trying to hang on as long as we can.
Totally, because they're literally saying like, hey,
because he makes a lot of money, right?
Well, he makes a lot of money, but also like, unless these organizations are growing, it's not like they can't, if they go, hey, we need to up diversity, go, yeah, that means removing somebody to replace them.
Yeah, they're
That's
dropping
they're not just like adding a person to the pool because like it doesn't economically make sense to just make up jobs.
No.
So they literally have to like.
Well, they're making up jobs like, with this shit, but.
But I'm saying like, for engineers or something, you go, okay, well, either people retire or you have to shit can people.
Well, that's why it's always the younger people, right? So it's like, the older people keep their jobs. But the in the middles, like us, I guess we're the in the middles. We're not as bad as the younger. Like if you're 21 right now trying to enter the workforce and you're not the right thing, that's probably not the best.
Tough. Oh yeah,
but we're in the middle where it's not. But my point is that he basically said like across the board, like every guy behind the scenes is like, you just you try to hang on for 2 or 3 more years because they make a lot of money, and then you start your own thing.
Plus, also, if you can get fired and it turns out like it's pretty frivolous for your race, then you get a big like if you get fired for being white, they might not say, like you could get a settlement for that,
right?
Because at the end of the day, you can like have some legal recourse if you get fired from accounting job for being
sure,
just because you're white.
But you have to be that guy now that's like a public lawsuit about like anti-white racism.
You got to be James Damore, basically.
Right, you have to, which is. If you want to enter that, that's fine. But if you're just like a normal guy that becomes the poster child for like I'm being discriminated against because I'm white, it just a lot of people might not want that smoke.
No, that's
a tough one.
That is some smoke.
It's some smoke.
That's some smoke.
That's some smoke. But we were joking around about the idea, and everyone probably talked about the idea that like white guys really did get like sent to the dungeon of podcasting.
Totally.
Just like. Like he used to get to go to the guys would be at the Oscars and like now it's like every guy's just like
unless you're Ryan Seacrest, just like
every white comedian's like they have a chain attached to like a radiator where they podcast like and the other thing about it.
And also on cancel culture
and another thing about cancel culture. They don't want us. We all got sent to the dungeons of podcasting.
That's so funny.
Yeah. And another thing's like, want to say some slurs?
That was, Colin Tyrell had a really funny tweet where he basically was like talking about how he has such a huge gap on his like resume. It's like he's like, if this comedy thing doesn't work out, and then he's like, I guess I was just like a racist podcaster for a few years. What are you doing for all these years? It's like, I guess I was just like a racist podcaster.
Well, when you leave the boys to their own devices. That's what happened. The boys get left to their own devices, and we go fucking buck wild, dude.
I mean, we tried to do all the other stuff.
That's why we're wild out here. Yeah. It's so funny. But no, I'm being hyperbolic because the truth is you can you can build an audience and make your videos and do whatever. But if anything, it's like the truth is you can build your whole fucking thing and do all the same shit, dude. Every video I do does over 200,000 views easily.
Yeah.
How many TV shows on Comedy Central, like that was the viewership? Like most Canadian TV shows, like
Canadian
60,000 an episode would be like a hit.
Dude, it's like Kim's Convenience or something probably was doing 500.
Did you see that?
Yes, I did. Oh my God, where they're like everybody. The best part is we have our friend who was on the show is like the only white guy too. And then he's like.
So Kim's Convenience is a show about an Asian family that runs a convenience store.
Pretty racist premise.
But the creators were, not
the creator was Korean, and it was about a Korean
they wrote
versus.
An article that said that it wasn't diverse enough, and that they had racist
the whole
production.
Basically the writers and production.
It was just funny that the headline said it's not diverse enough, and it was a picture of 9 Asian people.
Well, it's everything but the cast.
They said everyone else.
They said like the writers and they could never get a hold of the producers. The showrunners were like never around in the end. I was reading because I was like, but I'm like, it's just whatever. I don't know. It's not. It's kind of like a crazy thing. They essentially wanted to, because you know how Canadian TV works. It's like if you get picked up for a show on CBC the first year, like you're nobody. It's a literal. You're all nobodies, and then by the end of it, they're like, "Oh, we're pretty big stars, so we want to retroactively change everything." And you're like, "Okay, well,
yeah, that's probably a good description."
They kind of made you this big.
So they say the trainer is providing participants with a list of 156 white privilege statements, male privilege statements, and hetero privilege statements. And the statements are things like you get to fuck snap.
By the way, I don't think I've made this like on the podcast, but I hate hetero privilege. That's
You haven't come out.
I haven't come out. I haven't
you
come
hate
out
it.
and said how much I hate hetero privilege, but I
People don't know that.
hate
about
hetero
you.
privilege. Ugh.
Yeah, you lose sleep at night.
I
You
do
go,
lose sleep at
"Ugh,
night."
Hetero privilege.
Inflation and hetero privilege.
So these are the things. My culture teaches me to minimize the perspectives of power of people of other races. I can commit acts of terrorism, violence, and crime without having it attributed to my race. I mean, again.
I mean,
you're a
have you
weapons
read the
manufacturer.
news recently? But
Yeah,
also, have you
yeah,
read
yeah,
the
yeah.
news?
I know, of course, right? But also, well, there's so many funny things about that. It's like you get to be a terrorist and they don't even fucking mention your race. It's like that's your privilege. Like if you so desire to be a terrorist,
Yeah.
you don't get profile.
Yeah, you get profiled.
They're like, oh, he did it because of his country. It's like, whereas me, they don't even.
Yeah,
they don't listen to my They misinterpret my manifesto.
So it's because of my religion.
Yeah, yeah. You're a weapons manufacturer. My earning potential is 15% higher to 33% higher than a woman's, which I don't think anyone really buys that kind of thing anymore. My reproductive organs are not seen as the property of another man, and what they mean.
Tell me you bought this article for $40.
No, I did not buy it for $40. I am not asked to think about why I'm straight. I mean, except for right now in this exact thing, which I am doing. Whereas gay people have to constantly deal with, why are you gay?
Yeah.
Do you remember that guy?
No.
That'd be good on a soundboard. So this is a pretty fun thing to look up, but there's compilations. And it's basically like Nigerian politicians and stuff like that.
Oh, the poo-poo? He goes, when they eat the poo-poo.
Yeah, it's that guy.
Yeah.
So he's interviewing a guy, and they're telling him about being gay, and gay's illegal, right? And he goes, you worry about your own country. That's the gist of it. And he goes, why are you gay? But why?
But what?
Like
But
kid.
why?
Yeah, so the moral of the story is this stuff will definitely not make, they say, I can have friendships with or work around children without being accused of recruiting or molesting them. I mean, no, you can't.
Yeah.
Like if Danny showed up to like a show with 2 10-year-olds, he's like, these are my boys.
Yeah, my boys.
These are the dogs.
Nothing
dude.
weird about this.
Yeah,
Just
no, I would.
traveling with children.
Everyone would think that's weird.
Yes.
Danny started another podcast with his bro, and he's like 2 best friends, and the guy's 7.
Yeah, you go, what?
You go, well, if I was gay, and everyone thinks it's weird, period.
Yes.
It just might be more the opposite. Like if you started a podcast with like a 10-year-old dude and a gay guy started a podcast with a 10-year-old girl, it might be more suspect. But the reverse, if you're a gay guy and you had like a makeup podcast with a 10-year-old girl, it would also be less suspect than if Daniel had a podcast with a 10-year-old girl.
Is this a bad time to announce my new podcast?
Makeup Squad?
Makeup Squad?
Yeah, you should. Like, imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't even think of you bring a girl to the fucking, this is
that would be even.
It's my friend.
My friend.
No grown man's allowed to have a friend.
Who's a child. Michael
a
Jackson
child.
tried that. It didn't-
Michael Jackson tried that, but he even still more had guys. If it was like 12 girls, people probably wouldn't let that happen.
You have to be gay.
You'd have to be gay.
Yeah, a straight guy with.
But it's like, what dream world are these people living in?